and thank you for accepting me as a guest in your country. It's not always easy to travel to Pakistan from India, but by the grace of God, we could do it.
It's because of our relationship, what India is becoming. I'm scared of for all my Indian friends, where it's heading right now. For an educated Indian, it must be frightening growing up in India right now. We're dealing with a government which ideology is based on hate towards Muslims, towards minorities, specifically towards Pakistan. And it's not a rational government where we can talk to them.
Right. So do you have still this concern that India has not accepted the creation of Pakistan?
No, I think it's, that they have to accept. The issue is simply that they are, to resolve our difference, the main difference is Kashmir. That's the main difference. And that's why when I came into power, my first step was to extend a hand of friendship to Narendra Modi. And, I know India better than most Pakistanis. So my idea was that we should have a neighborly relationship, and our only difference is Kashmir, and to settle that through dialogue. But the response we have got, I was quite surprised at the response I got from the Indian Prime Minister. And then Pulwama happened, where a young Kashmiri boy blows himself up an Indian convoy, and they blame us for it. And then they bomb Pakistan. And then, of course, we downed one of their planes, and then we returned their pilot, just to tell them that we didn't want any escalation. But it was just their attitude, the attitude of this Modi government. So there is no relationship right now. And at the moment, what should I say? There's just a stalemate.
So what do you think can be done? How can Pakistan build friendly relations with India? Is there a first step or anything Pakistan could do to improve this?
Yes, we can build a relationship with India, but it has to start from them going back to that step they took on 5th August 2019. They have to, restore the status of Kashmir, because that's a violation of international law.
Right. This is the only condition you have.
Yes, go back to 5th August 2019,
right.
And yes, we can talk after that.
Otherwise, there will be no negotiation, no behind the door kind of secret negotiation to try to do something.
It is the biggest betrayal. To negotiate would be betrayal of people of Kashmir who've suffered so much. 100,000 Kashmiris have died so far in what was their right guaranteed by the international community through the United Nations Security Council resolution, that they would be allowed to decide their own destiny through a plebiscite. And so, denying them that and then using force, 800,000 troops, which have basically kept the people of Kashmir in an open prison. There's no way we can move forward until they restore that status.
And indeed, actually, it's very interesting because very regularly I receive the press release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that condemns the use of force and torture in Kashmir. But let me ask you something that I have in mind. Pakistan regularly denounces this, and I completely understand. On the other hand, it doesn't talk about the repression of the Muslims in Xinjiang. So my question is, do you think that maybe this lack of consistency could also dent the credibility of the accusation that Pakistan has on India, on what India is doing in Kashmir?
Well, let's just first see. The status of Xinjiang is that it is part of China. It's not a dispute. It's recognized as part of China. The state of Kashmir is that this was in 1948 accepted by the international community, that it was a disputed territory between Pakistan and India. So number one, the status of Kashmir. Number two, the people of Kashmir were guaranteed that they would, and accepted by India, that through a plebiscite, they would decide whether they wanted to go to Pakistan or India. That plebiscite never took place. Kashmir had a special status in the Indian Constitution. Unilaterally, 2019, India removed that status. So firstly, it is a completely different, it's between Pakistan and India, it's a disputed land.
Right.
That's why Pakistan speaks about people of Kashmir, because 1/3 of Kashmir is in Pakistan. And there are a lot of Kashmiri refugees from Indian side who are living in Pakistan. So therefore it is direct concern to Pakistan.
Okay.
So what happens to Muslims all over the world, just from Syria to Libya to Somalia, Iraq, Muslims are going through a lot right now. But my specific concern right now is Kashmir as a disputed territory between Pakistan and India.
Right. Okay.